always forget to add this, even though it's a link down in the description below. But if you would like, you can join my Discord. A lot of great people there, a lot of great discussion about Mustangs and all kinds of other topics. And also, you can join my Instagram. I'm going to try to be posting more photos this summer going forward, but a lot of stuff on there that doesn't make it to the YouTube channel. So if you like, you can check both of those out. Now, a lot of people may be wondering, why am I just running a Carfax on my car now after having it for going on 3 years? A lot of you already know, but just as a quick recap, I knew the previous owner and the history of the car the previous 10 years before I ever bought it. They had also known all the history on the car prior to buying it, so I had the whole framework of the entire history of the car. I just didn't have the information in front of me, but I was told all this over the phone, and it all checks out anyway. I really wasn't worried about it. But the whole reason why I wanted to run this Carfax was just to get some interesting history on the car, places that had been serviced, and maybe just some weird things that I didn't know about the car beforehand. And there is a few things that popped up that I wasn't aware of before, but it's pretty cool knowing it now. So from the beginning, the initial information states that it has a retail value of $31,980, which probably seems accurate for the mileage and just the car general condition overall. It's worth about $30,000. No accidents or damage reported. I'll get back to that in just a second as I get further down the report. It says it has 15 history records, 4 previous owners, but technically there's only 3. They count the dealership as 1 owner when it's delivered. But this car has only been in possession of 3 people total. Last owned in the state of Maine, which is from when I registered it, and the last reported mileage was 81,434. Right after I bought the car, I brought it to a shop to have the Cafax system put on. It was actually VIP. A friend of mine that I went to school with, he's the regional manager, so he got me in pretty quick. And the tech that was working on the car, that put the exhaust on, he put on my pipe and the boiler cab back. He was looking at the front of the car and said that it looked as though there was frame damage on it, as though it had been hit and repaired at one point, which I thought was really weird because none of that ever came up when talking with the previous owners for the past 10 years. They mentioned nothing about that before when they were looking to buy the car. I just thought it was really odd that he said that. Over the years, I've boiled that down to someone either not knowing what they're talking about, or they were just envious that someone had a nice Cobra and they didn't have one. The best way to put it, just being envious or jealous. But as you can see from the Carfax report, it's never been in an accident. There's no reported damage of anything ever happening to this car. So I just chalk it up to someone just not knowing what they were talking about. At the top of the Carfax, it says 4 owners, me being the 4th. But technically, there's only 3. There's myself, the owner that had it before me, and then the person they bought it off from, which is the person that bought it from the lot. So it's only been owned by 3 people, and they count the dealership as number 4. So as you can see, there's no records of ever having a total loss, no structural damage, no airbag deployment. The odometer is correct, and no accident damage reported. And this is the entire history of the car. So as you can see, it's a clean title, no accident car. As we move down to the service history of the car, you can see that it was delivered to the dealership on March 10th of 2004, and just over a month later, it was sold on April 15th, 2004. Now, I did know this part of the car before I bought it, but it's really interesting. If you look under title issued or updated, it says titled or registered as a corporate vehicle. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but to me, it seems like some corporate person bought this as like their company car and did all the company business with basically a 2004 Cobra. If anyone knows exactly what that means, let me know in the comments. That's kind of just my assumption of it. But the car spent a good portion of its life as a corporate car. And as you can see, it was sold in Indiana originally. As you can see here, this is just part of the report with a lot of service records done on the car. But there was one thing that kind of stood out to me as a little bit odd. And as this being a company car, he probably drove it all over the place. Somehow, this car ended up in Texas. If you look down the bottom of the screenshot, in El Paso, Texas, the vehicle was inspected and the horn was replaced. I don't know why the horn was replaced at only 55,000 miles, but I guess the horn went bad. So being that this car does not have its OEM original horn, I'm probably just going to part the car out at this point. I really don't have any interest in even having this car from this point forward. Now we reach the part of the Cobra's history where it left its time in Indiana and was bought and moved to Florida. So from the time it was brand new on the lot to 2011, it stayed in Indiana. And then in 2011, it was bought by the people who I bought it from, and it was sent down to Florida. A lot of its time in Florida is just registration renewal stuff from year to year and mileage and stuff like that. So nothing really stands out here as being out of the ordinary at all. And as you can see, the car was titled, and where it was located in Florida was down in Homestead, which is real southern Florida. So it was way down there as far as where the car was actually located. So the car spent its time down in Florida going back to 2011, and in July of 2020 is when they sold the car and when I bought it. And I actually took delivery in August, but it was a pretty good chunk of time that I spent down in Florida before I started my history with the car and everything that has happened with it since then. So this here is a lot of the service stuff that's been done on the Cobra since I've had it. Of course, none of the shop stuff where all the performance mods are done is on here. They don't record the VIN for any of that stuff, but as far as registration goes and alignments and inspections and just general registration renewal stuff, as you can see, it was last registered in August of 2022. That's the last time I had it registered and the last time the recorded mileage had been done. So I hope you guys enjoyed the recap of past history on my car, which I didn't cover in the part 1, 2, and 3 story on my car. For the rest of this video, I'll just let part of the Coastal Mustang cruise play out that I went on last summer. I am going on this cruise again this year, although there's some complications from work, but I'll get that figured out. So I look really forward to doing this cruise again later on this summer. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you did, leave it a like, but above all else, thanks for watching.